god, you're so weird.
I never even heard of Dashcon.
Yeah, I can't find anything that's above a 1080p webcam.
You wanna know why, Alan?
Because I'm assuming I'm gonna have to fucking just get a actual 4K camera and point it at my ass.
What sucks about this whole thing with Jet just saying calm constantly is that I'm literally gonna just think that that's what it is. I'm so stupid that I'm just gonna like mix up what actually what the thing is.
Here's a simple rule when dealing with Jet: always assume she's fucking with you and never listen to a word she says.
I can't do that because if I don't
can
get my
easily.
She's scary.
Yes, I know. She's also evil.
Jet, how you doing, you crazy person?
Don't ask her that.
Con? Dash Con?
Con! Yeah, exactly right. What you call it? Mauricio saying, Nikki surprised me yesterday. I didn't expect you to keep up with newer bands. Yeah, no, I do, man. Fucking Fire from the Gods. I love them very much. It was, well, you weren't the Act Hours. How would you know, man? God damn it. Why weren't you in the Act Hours?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What are y'all talking about?
We missed you, you son of a bitch.
Barely y'all had fun.
Yeah,
the roasting.
It was a pretty good show last night. Or not show. The show
pretty good.
No, I'm just joking. The show was good too. But no, we had fun time hanging on.
Oh no, I couldn't join, dude. Like I woke up at like 8, and then I did a bunch of stuff. Then we had to record an Illuminati episode, and it was like 6 p.m. by the time like we were finished. And I text Nick. I'm like, "When are we doing the show?" He's like, "Well, I don't know, in like an hour." I'm like, "Can we make it 2? Because I'm gonna die."
Yeah. Yeah, man. Ruthless, you gotta stop using my boys like that, goddammit. I already spent my time.
It was Godja's fault, man. We got up, we met up in the exact time we were supposed to get up, and then Godja pops in like 45 minutes later.
Man, I'll get mad at you motherfuckers. But anyways, here's the thing, though. Mauricio, yeah, talking about the music stuff. Hopefully we can bring music back into these little discussions that we do on these shows. It's just sometimes I think that it's so all over the place, I just can't do that as well. But maybe we'll try again, because I had such a fun time doing that. What you call it? Hollow Man saying, too bad I only buy physical games. Ooh, we're going to get into that discussion a lot today, Alan. Here's the thing.
Oh, I buy whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Digital, physical. It's what honestly, because I live in Canada, whatever I can get a better deal on. If I can go into a store and get a game physically cheaper, like I just bought a Switch game here. This is like supposed to be like $50 new in store. I was able to get it for 45.
Well,
sure, I'll buy it.
Yeah, Nintendo Switch online, whatever. They don't like giving fucking discounts on anything, dude.
They are right now, and I went and bought like fucking 6 games, like smaller shit, but like I was able to get like they're like 50-60 off. I'm like, good. I put them on wish list, and I wait for Nintendo to do their like monthly sales.
Yeah, man. We got Gene over here in the Twitch chat. We got Mauricio Solidus, Ryan over here saying, well, I'm so surprised he's actually like, ring my bell. I didn't think he'd do that song.
Why does Ryan never chill in the Twitch? He's always in the YouTube.
Because he owns the YouTube chat. That's the thing. When he's on YouTube, it's like that's his fucking like his throne, man. Like you go into there, you're in his fucking house.
Yeah, so like fucking like Captain Jack Sparrow on fucking that island, man.
Oh, I gotta tell you about something. Dude, because I almost want to show you this. I almost want to, but I don't want to be embarrassed because you're going to use this against me later on. But
I will always use it against you.
So WrestleMania has this whole theme about, because they're in Florida, in Tampa Bay or whatever the fuck. So they had this whole thing based around, pirate ships. Now, just that context alone.
Are you fucking serious?
No. Pile of shit?
No, not a pile of shits. Just pirate ships. Arr. But here's the thing, though. With that context alone, Alan, can you just assume why I'm bringing this up to you and what actually happened as far as the beginning intro for WrestleMania?
It fell apart?
No. What the hell? No.
So I mean, you asked me what stupid shit could have possibly happened. I'm like, well, it fell apart.
No, basically they got fucking, and I don't know if it's an impersonator or not, but they got someone to basically go in there as Captain Jack Sparrow to do.
Oh, that's fucking amazing.
And it's supposed to be a joking intro, so it's like, yes, these big warriors beating the fucking hell out of each other, and then he does something like,
with a Kyrie.
Yeah, it was bad. And then like literally right afterwards, he would like stop and be like, "Well, not really. It's just we're gonna have some fun." Like he's making fun of the show. He's making fun of the wrestling show because obviously there's no audience there, so it's not as epic as they want it to be. And he's doing the drunken Jack Sparrow character throughout this entire intro. It's like a 5-minute intro. So yeah, I mean, I thought of you because I'm pretty sure you like Pirates of the Caribbean. Am I incorrect for that?
The first 2 are good. The third one fucking sucks, and I didn't even finish the 4th one.
Okay, but shit, man. Like, I gotta tell you, dude, that was some cringy-ass shit, and I do not like actors going into... They did the same thing with Terminator Genesis, 2015. WrestleMania came out, and Arnold was doing the Triple H theme song with a bunch of plastic Terminators walking with him down to the ring. It was fucking silly. But yeah, guys, WrestleMania is going on right now, too. If you guys are watching that, let me know what's going on so I'm not so, like, thrown outside the fucking, like, knowledge area. Because I love WrestleMania so much, even if it's silly right now. So, yeah, just let me know what's going on if you guys want to, if you guys are watching this both at the same time. But yeah, man, Ryan says, I'll chill in the Twitch if I was only on Twitch. So wait, Oh, okay. Oh, he's saying if we were only on Twitch. But
Wait,
no,
that doesn't answer the question though.
yeah, I don't know. I'm actually confused. Like, why does he not do it now? But I like him being on YouTube too. That's cool. Matthew Badar saying he would like to get ACA Neo Geo to play some Neo Geo games on the go.
Who?
So I don't know who ACA is, but Neo Geo, were you ever into those at all? The ones I had basically, it was Neo Geo
No.
SNK things. They had like, what was it? Metal Slug, fucking.
Nah, that was a console or an idea that was just like I just didn't have access to. If it wasn't when I was a kid, if it wasn't mainline, I didn't fucking have it.
Yeah.
And even then, I only had really Nintendo shit for most of my life.
Because what, like, I had to bring this up. Like, where are some video game retro items that you feel people overly hype and it's really not that great? Because Neo Geo is one of the first ones that comes to my mind. Like, look at this shit, dude. $1,500.
Oh, arcade. Yeah, that's an arcade though. That's like the last one, man. Like there aren't like a lot of those left. Like that's an arcade That's an arcade set. Like that. Yeah, $1,500. I'm like, yeah, okay, that actually does sound about right. Because like you're getting an actual thing that like some of those versions, some of the arcade versions that were specific for the machines don't exist anywhere. They were made specifically for that rig, and it's like, yeah, people like the classic shit. That's kind of crazy that even any of those still around.
Yeah, man. Because, I mean, arcade machines in general, like Hollow Man said, is pretty expensive. And maybe I used the wrong example, but I'm looking over here, man. Like, these fucking things, like, come on. Like, I don't like that button layout. I don't like the way any of that stuff was. I know it was
that's a controller?
Yeah.
That was a piece of garbage, man.
Yo, it's bullshit, man.
When did
like,
this come out?
Like 92, if I'm not.
Is this a Sega console?
No, it's not. But the thing is, like, it came out around the time where the Masters was out. Or no, was it? I think it was.
Wait, you say 92 or 82?
I'm trying to. Even if I say 82, I'm still wrong because Masters came out after 82, so I can't fucking remember.
Is this around the crash? Because I don't fucking remember this console ever existing.
It was right after the crash, basically right after Nintendo was whooping ass with like the first Mario game. It was like, and what was the first Mario game? Like what, 87, 86?
Something like that. It was directly after the crash.
But I think that's one of the things that kind of bothers the fuck me. Marisa say 85, so yeah, nice, thank you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
thank you, Mauricio. The N6. I love Nintendo, and I think the N64 is the greatest console ever made. That is personally my opinion. I'm not considered it's not the best selling because that's a PS2, but the best, me personally, is because if that game popularized 3D mechanics. That is one of the worst controllers ever designed by humans.
You act like
Worse
you
than
don't
the
have.
Dreamcast.
You act like you don't have 3 hands.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You're right. I act like I don't have 3 hands.
Wow, primitive.
No, this is
Fucking
awful.
garbage ass control. Like I fucking hate this controller. Like when I was growing up, I had an N64, but my parents didn't really like to buy me games because what it was is everyone in the neighborhood kind of had the same console. So as long as one person had the game, you would just go to everyone's house and just fucking trade it around. That's kind of how it worked. So my parents just never bought me games. So any games I played on the computer with an emulator. And I would use the keyboard, like I would just use a regular keyboard, and it was no problem. I even like threw off Nick, like, how are you playing these games with the keyboard? Quite easily. I played all N64 games on a keyboard. But that controller is fucking terrible. I don't have one of those in my house. I think I might downstairs, but I fucking hate that controller.
Yeah, man. No, I mean I really don't like the controller either. But you know, Jed, I'm sorry I gotta come for you for a second, girl. Like. You and that goddamn GameCube controller. Why do you defend the GameCube controller? It's so bad.
There's nothing wrong with it.
What was up?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Except for Smash. Like, because I will say...
No, like, I've never had a problem with that controller whatsoever.
You don't think it feels cheap?
No, I mean, so does the PlayStation one, but, like, this one has great buttons. I mean, like, I'd never... Even then when I first got it or whatever, like the last thing I'm thinking of like when I was that age when this controller even came out was like, oh, this feels so fucking cheap or whatever. I'm just like, no, this feels good and it has just enough buttons for me to actually play shit.
Yo, and I definitely too, I don't like the face buttons like the B, A, the Y, X. I don't like the way it's because like for one, even now like when I'm trying to play it, I use like the other day I was using the GameCube controller to play Animal Crossing New Horizons because you can do that with the Switch. And when I was doing that. I kept hitting the wrong buttons because I'm like, wait, why would the X be this? Like,
oh, okay, so that's an interesting thing because when you look at that controller, that essentially became the layout for Xbox and a bunch of other. Everyone basically ended up copying this fucking design of what ended up happening because where the C stick is, like it ends up like it's almost identical to the fucking Xbox one. But something that threw me off when I was going back and forth playing my Switch like with a Pro controller and like playing any other game, it's like where A and B is and X and Y is switched. So it does throw you off if you switch it from console. Because I'm playing the fucking Switch. It's like, oh yeah, B to open doors, but that's to exit any menu on the fucking Xbox. So it's like it does get confusing if you're switching towards consoles, but that's just because of the difference of the button layout. And I don't know why they do it specifically, but it's been like that since the dawn of like fucking Nintendo controllers.
Matthew Hundama, how you doing, man? Glad that you're over here. I'm talking about controllers and whatnot. One thing I will say, because you said, oh yeah, well, everyone copied GameCube. Nah, fam. GameCube stole from Dreamcast. Look at that.
Nobody
shit right
stole from the Dreamcast.
Look at where the fucking left
that
stick
controller
is.
Fucking sucked.
But look at where the stick is. They stole it. They completely
No, the stick was the stick. They just moved it where the D-pad was. Do you remember what the fucking the 64 controller was? The 64 controller was in the middle and the D-pad was in the corner. All they did was essentially switch them around.
You're wrong, Alan.
No, I'm not, because the fucking controller for the GameCube came out when did the fucking Dreamcast come out? Because it was like a year later than the GameCube did. Yeah, no one fucking even cared about that console because it immediately died.
Boo, you're an asshole. And
but did you even own a Dreamcast?
Yes, I did. And I even had I had a bunch of VMUs, and I don't know where they're at
anymore. The fuck's a VMU?
The shit. Oh, really? You don't know what a VMU is?
I never owned one because I never wanted to waste my money.
You talking about that one chatting game, IMVU?
No.
What the fuck is a VMU? Is that the fucking UMDs from PlayStation?
No, it's like that screen right there where basically it tells you, hello, thanks for playing our video.
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
That was so cool. That was
awesome. It was never used.
It was used a lot.
Sure it was. Day 4.
Yeah, look at this. Look, and by the way, this was the Switch before the Switch. Look at this fucking thing over here. You get to play like it's a Tiger Electronic game. That's so cool.
That is ridiculous.
Ahead of its time, you son of a bitch.
No, it wasn't. It was behind its time. Look how tiny that stupid fucking thing is.
Get a pair of glasses and then
get a fucking magnifying glass. Like, look at that shit. That's like the fucking Game Boy SP, or was it the Mini?
No, the SP and Mini were way bigger.
Oh, were they? Because those things were tiny as hell.
Thank you, Gene. Yes, VMUs were the fucking shit, man.
Oh, fuck y'all.
This was great. And man, Ready to Rumble boxing, Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Well, not the X, but just fucking.
No, I'm sorry. The Dreamcast was a piece of shit. The only people that like the Dreamcast are people that fucking like Sega, and that's like dwindling every fucking day.
Oh man, Ryan Watson. You know what else obscure? Game Boy Advance video. Oh, I never watched that. Yeah. So apparently the Game Boy Advance had some kind of peripheral where you get to watch videos on it.
Oh, the Game Boy Advance has so many random fucking peripherals. There's a peripheral to connect it to the fucking GameCube, to which you could like play as a random character in like one of the fucking Zelda games. And you can also, they did that with like Four Swords of Wind Waker, where you could like interact with certain characters. They had a lot of random bullshit.
I remember the Game Boy Color had a thing where you basically like you can print, and then there was something else like that would hook up to like a sewing kit or something. You could sew with it. It was fucking insane. Like the peripherals on these things were so cool, and I'm almost like, dude, with this whole handheld market pretty much dying because of the Switch. Not saying it's a bad thing, to be honest, because it's fucking great.
Well, because it's not the handheld market dying because of the Switch. Is that you can't really compete with something that good. Like the handheld market, no one ever wanted to try because Sony that did well with the PSP, but they were never able to replicate it ever again. And when the Vita came out, it was, to me, that's what I felt like the system always should have been with 2 sticks. But they just essentially stopped caring because it's not that they realized they want to beat it. They want to be the Game Boy killer. They want to be the fucking 3DS killer. But they can't, so they eventually realized, well, fuck it, why are we going to bother? Even though that there's a lot of cool things that the fucking Vita had. You could connect it to your PlayStation, and you could actually talk to your friends while on your Vita. That's what I did a lot. I would just hook up my Vita, be on my computer, but I use it for chat. Like, it was actually a really, really cool console. But they just stopped caring about it, so I stopped caring about it.
And I got asked, and I'm very curious what she's going to say, because she might be saying something that's not too popular. But, Jet, what's some of those examples of retro gaming that you feel like, man, that is just nothing but garbage? I don't give a shit. The authenticity or novelty of being old does not work on me.
Nothing comes to mind right now. I'm pretty sure if you actually like told me one right now, I'd just be like, that was fine, or that was garbage.
Because
so far, nothing's coming to mind.
The biggest thing to bring up, because I remember us talking about this slightly, because me and you watched Last Gamer, which I don't even know if you remember what that is, but basically it's this Australian guy, and he has his house pretty much converted into a crazy-ass video game museum, and the guys from Up, Up, Down, Down, a.k.a. The New Day from WWE, they visited his place, and Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed, would go there, and he was just flipping out over the simplest shit. Like, oh my god, that's Legend of Zelda inside of a fucking cartridge. Oh,
really? You actually had that?
Yeah, they actually had that. Like,
That's probably worth like $1,000, man.
Oh, more so. I mean, dude, they even have like fucking like a Link to the Past.
Oh well, if that's what you're talking about. Like for me, it's just like I can play those games on emulator. Like I don't give a shit about seeing them physically. I don't care.
It's one of those things where it's a collector's item.
Like unless I actually own it and like the price is going up for me, like having it for a long time, then I'd care. But I don't have it. I'm just looking at someone's collection or whatever, just being like, oh my god. Like,
I mean, it is impressive, but it's like it's a collector's item. It's like there's these factory sealed where people just happen to like not open all of them, and you find these randomly. It's like, yeah, there's probably only you can probably count like on your hand the number of box copies of certain games that have never been opened, because people didn't really think about that stuff. It's like it's rare, it's interesting, and it's like if you're really into that, yeah, it'd be exciting as fuck. But I was surprised you managed to have a box copy of Legend of Zelda. Fucking Christ, I've never actually. I saw the only box copy I've ever seen in my entire life was a random wrestling game at my buddy's house. Like it was factory sealed and everything. It's the only time I've ever seen that.
I'll just get a box and then just print the pictures out and just tape them on there.
No, man.
Just have the same effect.
No, and honestly, I wish people would do that more often. Like literally, like have someone just buy the cases. They sell those cases still, like empty ones, the plastics. You can grab those and just put the fucking art over it. Like I don't know why that's not a thing that's happening now. But
because again, unless it's like from the factory and official, no one's gonna give a fuck about your random reprint. Sure, if they really want to get the game, oh good, I get it for cheap. But like the box there that's like specifically from the official company, which doesn't get made anymore. Like they're gonna keep making a PS4 games for like a while. Like any PS4 game that's come out, they're probably still making copies of, or at least they're done with that. And if you grab the one that's sealed and in 20 years, yeah, that's going to be worth a lot of fucking money. You grab God of War right now and make sure it's sealed by the factory and keep it in your fucking basement for 30 years, it's going to be worth like 10 grand.
Yeah. And I mean, cool things like this is one of those things someone brought up in the chat. Sorry if I remember you, but the RE4
fuck is that thing? Oh my god, yeah, I fucking forgot that existed.
I mean, I don't like that it's yellow, but it's cool that it's in there. Like, that's badass.
Fucking stupid,
I thought
dude.
Someone spilled Kool-Aid all over their controller.
Oh, did you? Please tell me you can find the fucking PS3 gun.
The PS3 gun? No, and I remember we talked about this before.
Oh, right? I still have. I'll send you the fucking video, man. That PS3 gun is hilarious.
Yeah, and hopefully it shows up over here. I'm gonna show this on screen because you're not talking about the fucking.
No. I'm talking about the fucking I'm talking about the one that's like an assault rifle, but has it's like the chainsaw, where it's like it's a fucking physical gun that has the buttons on it. It's so fucking ridiculous. I think I saved it, so just keep talking. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Yeah. But no, man, these things are pretty awful. Or not like the one with the move on it, with the wand. It was actually you get to buy it with Killzone and shit. That was cool.
Luckily I saved it. I put it in the fucking chat.
Oh, I need to find this. Yeah,
dude, it is the. By the way, I want to point out that the PlayStation Move was on the market by this point, and they decided to make it was the dumbest thing I've ever fucking seen in my life, and I have fond memories of laughing my ass off with my friends with this stupid shit.
Let me see. I can't find it. I know you put it in the chat, but like for some reason,
I'll send it to our. I said I put the Twitch chat.
Yeah, no, because you just said chat. I'm like, oh, that could be 10 different chats. But let me see over here. Someone's already putting in fucking Battlefield in this thing. You guys about to see this fucking shit. Oh, I do remember this. We were talking about this a lot.
Yeah, this is to me the dumbest controller peripheral ever made. Yeah, like straight up. I can't think of anything stupider. I was yelling at my friend. I'm like, the PlayStation Move is out now. They could have just mounted a fucking motion sensor to the front of the gun and made it more interesting. So fucking ridiculous. That somebody actually designed
this pad on your controller is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
It's so hard to control. And it's like, oh, you use the trigger there. Like, this is really not good. Like, at all.
Yeah, and like the tech has been out there since NES to just do the light, the zapper again. Just do that.
The PlayStation Move was out for like a year when this thing came out. You could have just mounted a PlayStation Move controller, or you just fucking put a fucking motion sensing diode at the front of it that can recognize the Move's fucking camera, and you would solve the problem of having to use the fucking camera stick, and it might be way better. But I don't know why the fuck this exists.
No, it's the dumbest shit, yeah, man. And here's the thing, you know what's sad is that this would have won me over. I would have seen this like, dude, that's a fucking gun, bro. I'm gonna get it. You know what I mean? But like, no, it's fucking dumb. God, there's so many things that they came out with. Like PS2 and PS3 had some pretty bad peripherals. I think that towards the end of the PS3 lifespan, they came up with some good shit. And I think the launch
Everybody
was cool.
since Nintendo started the trend, but everybody forever has been trying to move away from a controller.
Mm-hmm.
They've been like, you know what, we want to do something different because we want to be the next different person. And nobody's been able to, not even Nintendo really, has ever been able to get a peripheral outside maybe the Wii that has been we're gonna redefine the controller. No one's at this point, no one's even gonna bother trying because they've been doing it for decades. Microsoft's probably the only company that's never bothered to even try. They're like, fuck it, controllers are the future, and we're gonna keep it that way, and it worked out for them.
So yeah, Austin saying, do you remember the Steel Battalion controller? I do not remember that stuff.
No.
I totally remember.
Yeah. The Steel Battalion controller is like a gas pedal and like an arcade stick, and like it's a bunch. It's literally like what you expect to be inside of a mech.
Really?
Where you'd have separate different levers and diodes, and you'd have like a gas pedal for you to move forward in your mech. Then you have your buttons in the front, and you have like levers on the side. Yeah.
Cool.
It's like a whole fucking setup.
Yeah, this actually seems pretty badass. Let me see.
It was only for one game.
Why can't it show me an actual picture of the fucking? There you go.
I don't know. See the sexy girl in the fucking like.
Yeah, I'm just like, why do
that's
they have
what
her?
fucking wanted. By the way,
this is cool.
the crack addicts at Microsoft tried to make a Steel Battalion with the Kinect. So get rid of all the pedals and all that bullshit and use the Kinect to do it. Worked out as well as you think.
Yeah, man, but I think that is pretty badass. I'm not into those kind of games, but dude, like this would probably win me over on just at least giving it a try. Ryan was saying, have any of you had a Virtual Boy or the Power Glove? So I didn't, but I did want the Power Glove.
Nope.
When I was
so
growing
bad.
up, I really wanted one. It was so bad. Yeah, it's stupid ass. That movie is bullshit.
I didn't want one because it was it just looked really dumb. But I was just like, I mean, I don't know. That thing, I remember, I think it was I was watching the Angry Video Game Nerd, or was it Nostalgia Critic? It was one of those I was talking about it, how most people didn't know you had to have the sensors on your TV, so they sold it without it.
Oh, no. I thought they had it with it, but no, that's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, because people just didn't know how. That's why, like, the whole so bad, it wasn't because of that. That's just people used to say bad is good. Back then, it was just slang.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, yeah, people hated it because it just never worked.
Yeah, man. But also, yeah, that dude in the fucking, what's his name? Lucas. He was in the Wizard. And that movie's so fucking stupid, but I like how it's just a huge ass example of how big Nintendo was back in the day.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, man.
Nintendo's the biggest fucking 80s and 90s. Nintendo's like the biggest company in the world. They were the only ones really doing anything video game related. It wasn't until like the PS2 kind of came on the market, only because through the exact same method as Netflix existed, they had a prototype for like a CD-based system, and at the time, the Nintendo didn't really want to leave cartridges, so they're like, "Yeah, we're not gonna deal with it." So Sony's like, "Fuck it, we'll do it ourselves," and that's how the PS1 was born.
It's really incredible how like that, you know, Nintendo just sparked so much like just popularity as far as video games go, where it's just so socially acceptable. You know, you're not like a loser.
Because they made party games. That's what it was. Like Nintendo was, they're like, well, okay, because games always existed. They were just on PC mostly and arcades. But they're like, yeah, you have to go all the way to an arcade to play a game, and you got to pay money, and you got to do this. Where it's like, what if you had an arcade in your house? And it's like, well, what instead of just playing these single player, you know, go through a side scroller, what if we did some party stuff? What if we did stuff that you could play with your family? Mario ended up being that, where it's like, yeah, you could play this anyone around. You just pass the controller and anyone could play it. And people ended up fucking loving that.
Ryan said he had this thing called the V Smile. I'm looking at this right now. Never heard of this before.
I don't know. Those are a bunch of those random games that what was it? Those educational bullshit where they always like kind of made their own like knockoff versions of smaller consoles that only play like 2 games with no OS, and they're only designed for those handful of games.
So I thought back in the day this was actually obscure because none of my friends had it. But dude, Atari Lynx was my big console. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I actually have one, and blah blah. I'm playing this game, and I had X-Men on this. It was one of the biggest games that were on this console. But yeah, Atari wanted to compete with, you know, Sega and fucking Nintendo and all that bullshit with the handheld.
Well, everyone wanted to compete with Nintendo because Nintendo was the biggest thing in the world, and even if you weren't better than Nintendo, as long as you were good enough to compete with them, you ended up you ended up doing pretty well. Like that's why the console wars, like again, for me and you and Jed and then a lot of people that chat attack and probably people in the chat, you guys remember the console wars, the real console wars, not the bullshit that's happening between PS4 and Xbox. That's just fucking a bunch of companies showing their dicks off. But I'm talking about literal console wars in which a company went bankrupt, in which a company straight up died. Like when it was Atari versus Nintendo. and Atari just couldn't compete. They went bankrupt, and Sega took the place. So it was Atari and it was Nintendo and Sega, and you have never seen shit throwing like between like they literally did like propaganda videos. Like that's where the term blast processing comes from, where Sega just made up a term and called it blast processing. Like our consoles have blast processing. That doesn't exist. There was never anything called blast processing. They just made it up to sound better than Nintendo.
Yeah, that's the stupidest shit about that too. It's just kind of like, wow, guys, like you're gonna make up that shit, and people remember kids were just like arguing, like, oh yeah, dude, it doesn't have blast processing. Come on, man. It's like,
or the 16-bit processor versus an 8-bit processor, because I think like it was the NES at the time competing with whatever Sega console was, and Sega had just, or was it 16 and 32-bit? I think it was 16 and 32-bit. And they're like, yeah, we have more processing, we have blast processing, we have all this crazy stuff. And well, yeah, you did, but as we've seen in history, a better processor has never won a console war ever.
Yeah, I never did. But I will say, coming up, the PS5, I feel like with Xbox Series X just being good at everything, because I don't know what the fuck a teraflop is. I don't know any of this stuff.
No,
like,
that's I remember having a rant like years ago because of like teraflops and the new blast processing, because nobody knows what the fuck a teraflop is.
Yeah, but like I feel like even though they have all these other things, like I think finally a processor or whatever the fuck is gonna win the war, because like I love the PS5 and I'm still gonna be a Sony fanboy forever, but my God, like they beat them in every single mathematical.
But
like
they
comparison.
did it with the Xbox One as well. I think the Xbox One is actually slightly better than the PS4.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're saying objectively or subjectively?
No, I'm saying the specs.
Really? Okay. I don't know much about the specs.
It's not by much, but it's enough where it's like
their 4K shit's actually 4K, unlike the PS fucking 4 where it's just upscaling.
That's actually, I'm talking about the original from the first generation Xbox One and the first generation PS4. They did tests where they would run games like The Witcher and a lot of the launch titles, and you got better frames and better visuals on the Xbox One versus the PS4. When they started doing the Pro, yeah, you had an actual 4K console with the Xbox One X. You had an upscale 4K with the PS4 Pro, but more people enjoyed the PS4 still. So it's like it once again proved that a better rig never wins, because it doesn't. That's not really why people buy a console. That's why people buy a PC. Yeah, that's why more people have Nvidia. If you have a PC rig like a crazy one like ours, more people have Nvidia because Nvidia gives you more power, but it's also more expensive. AMD gives you a decent amount of power, but it's on the cheaper side. That's why you kind of pay for what you get. When it comes to console, processor doesn't matter. It's, can you run this game? Can you put a disc in and can it run it? Okay, cool, you're gonna win. But this has more frames. That never fucking matters. That's never mattered. That's why the PS3 lost, because they tried to be a powerhouse and nobody wanted to program games for it until the very end.
Yeah. But that's the thing, man. Like, looking at what Matthew said here in the Analog Pocket, we talked about that on the show before too, a few months ago. But yeah, man, I think that they can repopularize those type of games, especially physical. But speaking of physical, one of the things I'm kind of scared of, and I've been talking about this for a very long time, I think that physical media, as far as video games goes, is definitely in danger. Especially considering this one big thing, which is good news and bad news for what I'm saying, and good news for what you guys want to play.
Yeah.
Last of Us apparently might actually come out in time as far as digital release goes.
That's really interesting. Sorry, go ahead, finish.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much all it is right here. It's just like, yeah, director says no final decision yet on the potential early digital release, but there has been lots of people talking about that on all these video game sites, and they're all just kind of feeding off the same rumor mill, whatever, just to get clicks or whatever. But at the same time, it's like
comicbook.com says.
Yeah, man, sometimes they're right, though, man. I'm just saying. Is
it actually this article for comicbook.com? I saw a bunch of places.
No, this is a Video Games Chronicle. But, I mean, there's many other sites that have the same shit. The thing is that brings it to mind is, like, obviously the game's already made. The only reason why they're even thinking about like delaying this particular release is because people have to actually make these physical copies and put them out, and obviously that's what's going to be hindering the release of this. But with that being said, if this just does digitally, is this going to fuck up? Like, people are going to like start realizing, oh my god, like GameStop's closed, they're not essential, they're dirty as fuck. When I get physical copies, I had to actually go and get the shit, which is almost it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with the release of some of these things. Maybe digital is the way to go. And the people that are actually fighting that off and saying I want to go physical only, this might be the last thing that happens where they're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going digital. I can't help it. What do you think about this, though?
So the thing about physical copies is, or at least with consoles have always had physical copies. They've had it from the start. But the consoles, as the PC master race, those fucking dumbasses always have to say is that the consoles are slowly catching up to PCs, and PC hasn't had PC games don't get physical releases like at all. Like I remember buying Mass Effect Andromeda on PC. It came with a box, but what was in the box? A digital fucking code. Because people just don't do it anymore. Steam essentially objectively like stopped that because there's so many updates that you end up getting. There's so many things that you need to like that Steam actually like implemented where you're downloading all the codes that you need just to run it on your system. That shit that happens in the background that you don't even know about. That used to be extra bullshit. You have to download from Microsoft specifically just to get it running. Steam did that. So PC games ended with piracy. They eventually just stopped making physical copies. They're like, everything's gonna be digital because we can control digital pretty decently until the pirates catch up, but that's another story for another day. So PC just doesn't have physical copies anymore because they didn't want to deal with all the DRM bullshit. So with consoles, is they had physical for the longest time until very recently, where digital was able to keep up, where you could get a digital game, hard drives were big enough, and internet speeds were decent enough that people could just download whatever they wanted onto their system. And now it's to a point where we're deciding on, are we even going to do physical anymore? Because a lot of games don't do that anymore. A lot of games just say, fuck it, we're not even going to make a physical disc anymore. I don't even know the Dead Cells, I don't even know if they had it. Yeah, I know some games eventually after release are like, oh, fuck it, people want physical. It's a novelty now for a lot of indie games. A lot of indie games just don't have physical releases because it costs a lot of money. It's almost a 30-year budget to just distribute and do that. And often enough, you only get you don't get as much. Where if an indie company releases it digitally on Steam, 30% goes to Steam, but they get the rest of 70%. They don't have to sit there and cut it up between anybody else. They get most of the pie. So Sony's like, well, fuck it. We own this game. It's digital. It's made. It's ready. We could just put it on the PS4 right now, and anybody that's pre-ordering the PS4 gets to play it. Well, it might get a lot of bad press because what about the people that fucking pre-order physically? I didn't pre-order because I'm not sure if I'm going to get the game. But they're debating between that because they know they got a lot of pre-orders, and pre-orders are still, it's like physical, it's like buying tickets at a movie theater. That's like the pre-sales. That's a very important thing for them currently right now because physical is still important to consoles. So I doubt they're going to do it The Last of Us, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised at the PS5 if one of the major titles is like, here, we're going to be the flagship, the first people to ever do a digital release for a console only.
Yeah, which, would be kind of smart in a sense, but it does scare me because here's the thing is I'm starting to notice, just like when it comes to business, like investing in something, like every game I buy, because I don't have a whole lot of money, that I just, it's like an investment for me. Yeah. And I always try to see, okay, I'm going to do a stream about it, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do a review, blah, 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 because, I want to get something in return for just the thing, not just the gameplay. But, when they started removing this shit, and you know what these are, right, Alan? Have you ever cared about these?
No. In fact, I hated them.
Oh, I love them. The manuals?
I fucking hated manuals because whenever you would read a manual, sometimes it would spoil the game for you. Mm-hmm. It'd be like, like for instance, like in the Far Cry, when I was looking at the control scheme, it'd be like, press T to use your power. Wait, I get powers? Oh, fuck this bullshit. It would often do that. Like Call of Duty was actually one of the ones I liked the most because it would be a blank screen, but it would be all the stuff that's on your HUD normally. And I'm like, dude, I've been playing games for 20 fucking years. When I was playing games, I'm playing games for 10 years. I know the basic controls. That's why I skipped tutorials as a kid, because I'm like, I know the basic controls. I don't need to read a fucking manual to do so. So I honestly just always ignored them. I remember my brother would hand me the manual. I'd just toss it. Fuck it. I'm playing the game. Why do I need to read about it beforehand?
I just like it because it's an art to it too, man. When you open it up and it just, oh man, it has especially when you used to get them new, you get that new paper smell, it just brings you in. Oh my god, I bought me a new awesome thing.
I don't give a fuck. I never cared about. Honestly, that's probably why I'm so cool going digital, because I never cared about that shit at all. Even go get the art. If you pre-order the game, you get the art book. I guess I'm not pre-ordering the fucking game because I don't give a shit about the art book. Sure, it might have pretty art, but I don't give a fuck. I literally just want to get the game. There's very few pre-order bonuses I'll ever really get. Only if it's if you get the pre-order bonus, you get the fucking season pass for a little bit cheaper. Sure, I'll do that because that's extra content. But a fucking music pack or an art pack, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I guess I see what you mean. But yeah, man, when they stopped investing enough time and energy into making these fucking things, these manuals and stuff, I was like, you know what? I should probably stop putting money into the idea of getting these physical games, because at a certain point, here's one thing I wanted to bring up too. Blu-rays apparently, because this is some annoying ass shit, but Blu-rays, when you download or when you watch the movie, apparently you had to update the fucking licensing for the Blu-ray, even though you have it physically. you have to like update those. And it's like, dude, at that point, I just bought a physical version of a digital thing. Like, what if I didn't have the means of updating this particular thing because I don't have internet and physical media?
That'd be weird because you could just watch it offline. Wouldn't you be able to? Because it's not like a Blu-ray. Like a console needs a power source.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to physically update. It makes sense to physically update something because it's connected to some sort of power source, and you can register the license. I mean, I guess the Blu-ray player. I guess if you have an old school Blu-ray player that needs to connect to an internet source, you'd have to. But like, that's weird though.
Well,
I don't know
how that works. That's how crazy it is. It's like, dude, the idea of getting this physical media thing is that I can prove I have it and that I didn't pirate it. Because
it's DRM at the end of the day. Honestly, it's pirating. Pirating's to blame. People are getting so good at pirating stuff that they need to find ways to not pirate. And instead of taking the Steam approach and make it really easy to buy it, they're doing the opposite and punishing the people that actually bought it, which is kind of, to me, always ass backwards. Like, that's not how you deal with piracy. You don't make it so the person that actually bought it, it's harder. You make it so that the person can buy it easier wherever they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a big thing that's always kind of bothered me about that happening nowadays too. Not to be so grumpy about like, oh, technology is moving forward, man, fucking bullshit. But it's just like, yeah, it is kind of a little bit bullshit, guys, because now like even physical media doesn't have any fucking value, and now with like this whole coronavirus thing going on, now we found another glitch in our system of like, I mean, dude, like this is a big ass wrench thrown in the gear shift of just like producing content. This is a problem.
Well, so, it's going to be a shift where people are going to judge their priorities, and they're going to see it's like, I guarantee you right now there's been a spike in digital sales on every platform ever because people are buying. That's where people are getting their games now. Like, I'm sure a lot of Animal Crossing people that didn't buy day one because they're like, hey, I'm waiting for my next paycheck. I bet it's soared digitally. So I bet Nintendo's going to be thinking about that for their next console of like, okay, well, we're going to make sure that our base thing has a lot more memory, or maybe we'll even fucking put, maybe we'll give an SD card when you buy the fucking like Switch 2 or whatever the fuck they're going to call it.
Yeah. I'm really curious what they're going to call it next thing because they never stick with like numbers. They're just like, oh.
They never put a 2 at the end of it, and it always, every console that Nintendo's ever done, it describes what it does.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's funny because like even the Switch Lite, like I know it's great and everything, but it's like,
I love it.
What a silly ass name! Like it's a Switch Lite. Well, if it doesn't switch to the TV, then it's not long.
It's just a big 3DS, but I love it. Like I literally bought a bunch of games on it. Like I probably bought like 10 games just because I got paid a couple days ago. So it's like I'm happy with my purchase. And the thing is, it's like people are like, well, we can't switch. Why'd you buy it? You can't hook up to your TV. I have a $3,000 rig. Okay, like I could run games at 144 FPS at 1440p. Why am I gonna get a fucking Why am I gonna get a Switch port so I can run games at 720p at 30 frames? Like, fuck off. Like, I'll buy it so I can play it on the go on my way to work. But I'm running The Witcher at fucking 60 FPS, 1440p. Like, fuck you, man.
Yeah, Clifton Miller. Clifton Miller.
Just call him Clifton.
Clifton, how you doing, buddy? He says Animal Crossing is amazing. Yeah, dude. I keep trying to tell Alan I really want to win him over.
I looked it up a little bit because I love farming. Like I love Minecraft, and Stardew Valley is really grown on me. And I was talking to Jet earlier because I was like, well, let me just look up gameplay. I'm like, oh, it's not really a farming game, but clearly you're like cutting down trees and building stuff. I'm like, well, what else to the game is there? It's like, yeah, you get to put down buildings and make an island. I'm like, that's actually kind of fun. So I'm more thinking about it more and more. The more gameplay I look it up, because to me, I want to know what it's like when some of the cool shit people are building. That's cool, but what am I doing minute 1? What am I doing minute 2 type shit?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, and just to kind of wrap it all up as far as this whole physical thing, do you think officially, I'm going to have you at the fish word, do you think that Last of Us 2 is going to be released on time digitally as the people are rumoring about?
No.
No? Okay.
I think that Sony will seriously consider it, but I think at the end of the day there's too much money in The Last of Us to forego the fact that I guarantee you they probably went gold on physical pre-orders alone. Mm-hmm. And that would get too much negative press. If it was a smaller game, then I'd be like, okay, sure, they can get away with it. Last of Us 2 is probably the most anticipated game on the PS4.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, man. But one more thing I gotta get your opinion about that I know I can't add too much on is this movie. I could tell me if I was wrong, but did you like Snowpiercer?
I fucking love Snowpiercer. And it's my favorite fucking thing in the world.
And didn't you get kind of mad at this trailer for the TV series?
Oh, don't even get me started on how much they missed the point of Snowpiercer with that fucking TV show.
Because here's the thing, man. The TV show, I gotta tell you, I didn't watch the movie, but this TV show doesn't look too bad. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You missed the point completely of it when you watched it. It's like Jennifer Connelly is supposed to be playing. Like I don't like honestly. I refuse to watch like most of that trailer. I don't even know what character she's trying to play. But like I immediately look at her character and she's like, oh, clearly evil businesswoman. When you watch Snowpiercer, it is such an intricately designed discussion on class warfare, which makes sense because the director did fucking Parasite, and that's all that movie's about. When you watch it, it's like what it's about. It's such an interesting, like, it's basically BioShock the movie. Like, you're stuck on this fucking train, the world's over around you, and all it is like, it basically, like, he starts a revolution to try to get to the front of the train. And as you're going through the train, you're dealing with all sorts of crazy bullshit with, like, different levels, the food cart, the fucking, regular house cart. But the stuff that's in between, like how these people deal with it, like how they treat the poor, is really fucking interesting. Like, there's so much nuances in how they treat it. And when you watch the trailer, it's just like, oh, you're just making this a generic action movie. I'm like, fuck you. You're missing the point of what makes this interesting.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you in the sense of, like, because I'm only hearing, by what you're saying and what I see from the trailer, and it's like, yeah, you're probably right. But at the same time, we gotta find out by actually watching it. And apparently, it's going to be coming out 2 weeks earlier than expected, which makes this pretty much the only goddamn thing I've heard of that's not being delayed. Good thing or bad thing for you, man? Are you excited about this? Is this something you're gonna watch?
It's on TNT. Who the fuck watches anything on TNT?
AEW Dynamite, son. I'll be watching.
Besides, I was about to say besides wrestling, but I don't want to get the wrong network.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. No, man. It kicks off on Sunday, May 17th. So yeah, literally in a month from now. Around the time where basically, like, wasn't Black Widow coming out like a week after May 15th?
Yeah, it was supposed to be May.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, man, Alan, may want to check it out, dude.
Why? It's just gonna go down the same route as all the fucking other movie TV shows like Taken and Limitless and Training Day that only get like a season and then it'll get canceled.
God, there are so many shows that are coming around that time. It's just fucking crazy. Yeah,
oh, none of them succeeded. All because of Bates Motel. Bates Motel came out and it was like, oh yeah, we're Psycho the television show, but it's a prequel. And people loved it. And they're like, well, let's do it to every other movie ever. And honestly, I don't think a single one ever really got anywhere.
I'm curious, do you feel like that only works for horror movies to do those types of releases, those TV show adaptations or whatever the fuck?
No, because I just think that because I mean, they did one for MacGyver and they did one for Lethal Weapon and they were successful. I just think it just depends on how much you give a shit. Like, how much do you actually care?
Oh, Matthew bringing up, yeah, just kind of like what happened to the Mist. Oh, don't bring up the Mist around Alan.
Don't you bring up the Mist around me?
Yeah, he's get upset.
I'm still mad about that ending. It's been I've never been so mad at the ending of a movie. I've never felt so much like the director just spat in my face than seeing that fucking movie.
He was just like, I'm gonna make you feel like shit, and it's gonna stick.
I'm gonna spit in your face for actually sitting through my movie. You like my movie? You're really enjoying it? Well, fuck you. You're a fucking idiot for fucking sitting through this fucking movie.
Yeah, man. No.
Fuck. I'm still mad.
I still like the ending of that movie just because of the fact that I swear to God, I did not see that coming, and I don't think you saw it
because it's stupid. That's why you didn't see it coming, because it's stupid.
Well, it's tragic. It's just like it's one of those things.
No, it's not.
Like, don't give
up.
How
tragic would have been if he fucking died.
Well, essentially that's what's going on with all of them.
No. Oh, okay. You fucking got me started. So fuck you, Devin. Fuck everybody.
I love you, Devin.
Because the fucking Mist, like, you deal with all this crazy bullshit, and it's always the Mist. You don't know what's going on, and then it explains like some alternate universe bullshit because they're fucking around with atoms and shit. And like, you know what? This can't be the end of it. We're gonna go explore the fucking world. So they go out. They have like a fucking pistol with only a few rounds, and then they're driving for like a couple of hours, and they realize, oh shit, there's nothing else. This is the end of the fucking world. There's like 4 people in the car, but he only has 3 bullets. So he shoots his son, shoots the 2 old people there, and runs out of fucking ammo. He's like, whatever, fine. I'll get killed by some monster. Who gives a shit? Walks out. 30 seconds later, it's all fine. The fucking military just solved the fucking problem out of fucking nowhere. How do they solve it? A couple flamethrowers and a few trucks. So they never explain how it gets solved. And he just murdered like everyone he fucking cares about, including his own son. And it just screams, and that's the end of the fucking movie.
But it's showcasing, like, don't be weak.
What? How stupid he is? How stupid the world is?
No, they need to, like, don't give up. It's a thing. It's a cautionary
wait 35 seconds. And, like, there's no explanation for how the Mist gets solved.
Well, they don't need to because it's his story.
Like, yeah, they do, because it instantly gets solved. This is the problem for a majority of the movie, and then it just gets resolved.
Sorry, Alan. I really.
It's like a fucking Endgame where it's like, oh, they didn't snap. It's just like, hey, what should we do, guys? Oh. It got solved, but Tony Stark just died randomly. End of the movie, folks. It's like, what? What the fuck happened?
I see your point with that analogy, but at the same time, it's like, man, this was a slow burn, though. I feel like it had to.
Yeah, and that's what made it great, because you didn't know what was outside the mist. That's what made the movie so great, because it's a bottle film. You're only stuck inside of this supermarket, and there's nowhere else you can go. It's probably a good movie to watch nowadays, honestly.
Yeah,
but there's nowhere else you could go. But like, that's what made it so interesting and so dark, because as far as you know, the world's over. But it gets solved in a way that never gets explained. So it's like, it's not like a situation where it's like, if they could have said like, oh, because you ventured out for more than 10 minutes, like they never even have a conversation of how it gets end. It's just a stupid bullshit. And then you see Carol from The Walking Dead looking at him, because she left like an hour into the movie just to find her kids, and you think she's dead, but she's apparently fine.
Yeah, man. Is there any movie, by the way, I'm going to ask Jet really quick. Hopefully she's still here. But like, is there any movies, Jet, that you have seen that you just hate how bad the ending is, or how like negative the ending is?
I actually like negative endings. Oh, you know what? One that comes to mind. I didn't like this movie from the beginning. I didn't like The Grey at all.
Oh, The Grey. Yeah, I have not watched that yet.
Wait, did you watch the trailer beforehand?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see any of it.
Okay.
Like they just brought me to the movie saying like, "Hey, we're gonna go see The Grey," and I was like, "Okay." Didn't like any of it.
Because the trailer, I remember correctly, it was a very action-packed trailer.
Yeah, which is not.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I mean, I would have loved to see that fucking movie.
Like, imagine if they sold. Remember the mule with Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if they made a trailer like Bad Boys for Life, but for the mule. But they got like these random. Yeah, that's how they sold The Grey, where they like, well, we're gonna take these moments and almost trick you into watching an action movie. Then you watch, it's a slow-paced thriller about life and death and the meaning and like what people go through at the last moments of their life. Wait, what? like, I love the movie. It's probably my favorite Liam Neeson movie. But I watched the trailer afterwards. I'm like, oh, that's why people hate this shit.
Yeah, man. So, but anyways, yeah, that's one ending that really pissed me off. Also, American History X. That is a fucked up ending. Have you ever seen that, Alan?
No, but I think he talked to me about the ending.
Yeah, and I don't even want to spoil it here. People, if you get a chance after the Sunday service, after watching Double Toasted, go watch American History X. I think it's actually on Netflix right now. It's about racism, extreme racism. It's some really, really deep shit. But the movie is making you feel like there's things that are redeemable, and then something happens at the end that just it sticks with you. Just like Uncut Gems, where Uncut Gems, I don't know why, but I thought things were going to end up nice, and nope.
They never really do.
Yeah, man. Or A Good Time, that's another one. Even though, like, your main character's a fucking douchebag, so it's like, I don't,
Oh, your main character's a horrible piece of shit at the time movie. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yeah, man, I know. We've had people in our community who told us otherwise. So.
Yeah, because I remember I was watching the movie. I was about to text Nick. I'm like, this movie's pretty good. I mean, this guy's an asshole, but what was the controversy? And then it happened. I'm like, what the fuck? My buddy's like, yo, that's fucked up, right? I was waiting for your reaction. I'm like, yeah, fuck that, dude. Like, seriously.
Yeah, and thank you, Captain Laser. That's a perfect way to say it, too. Like, well, not to spoil American History X, but it's to show that hatred feeds hatred. And, yeah, like, literally, that's pretty much the movie summed up. And it's not as simplistic. You guys got to see the movie. It's fucking amazing. Yeah. Go watch that shit. Edward Norton's in it. He's fucking insane. But yeah, with that said, we're gonna get the fuck out of here though, because Double Toast has started doing their thing right now, talking about Coffee and Kareem, which I've seen some parts of it.
Dude, I'm gonna say this straight up: Ed Helms is the worst comedic actor of all time.
You might
Coffee and Kareem literally sounds like some interracial porn.
Well, it is interracial.
You're not wrong.
There's some sexuality things there. Like, you're not.
And by the way, I'm not 100% sure that's offensively racist. By the way, like Kareem, that's kind of a pun because this guy's name sounds like cream, huh?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Ed Helms, you're the worst comedic actor of all time because you've been in some of the worst comedies of all time.
The Hangover, man, you're wrong.
The Hangover 2! Am I still wrong?
That's great. I love Hangover 2.
Fuck and Hangover 3. You never even watched it.
I have. Why
you watched The Hangover 2, really? Do you still don't think that's like one of the worst comedy sequels ever made?
I think it's not as good as 3, but I think all 3 of them are fine.
I think the first one and the third one are... The first one's amazing, the third one's okay, and the second one's a piece of shit.
But, yeah, man, one of these days maybe we'll watch any after hours or something. But with that said, we're going to get the fuck out of here, guys. So, Alan, why don't you tell people where to find you, you little son of a bitch?
Alrighty then, if you're curious to hear my thoughts on random bullshit or piss people off and Children of Toast, check that out. My name is Ali, so that's probably why you'll recognize my fucking hair and my bird, so just check me out there.
Yeah, so people, thank you for chilling with us as much as you have. If you put something up on YouTube, make sure to share it with your friends and family, all that good stuff, so we can kind of like grow up and shit and evolve from this fucking thing. But thank you guys for chilling with us, and we will see you tomorrow. We'll be playing some video games. I don't know which one yet. It's gonna be a video game. And yeah, go enjoy Double Toasted. Get ass over there. God damn it. Bye. Shit. And Alan,
What?
you're not wrong.
Well, that's the first.
I always say you're wrong at the end of these shows and talk shit, but no, you're great.
Yeah. Officially accomplished it. I now quit.
Also, you're a bitch.
Yeah, no one likes you.
Jet, do people like me?
I'll get back to you on that.
God damn it. Bye-bye.